After 3 days of intense negotiations between EU member states and the European Parliament, lawmakers reached an agreement on Friday on a framework to regulate artificial intelligence. It is the first text of its kind in the world, and the political agreement is expected to promote innovation in Europe while limiting the potential abuses of these advanced technologies. To tell us a bit more, our science and technology editor Julia Seeger is with me. And Julia, the agreement is being described as historic by the European Commissioner here, who initiated the project back in 2021.
Exactly. The discussions have dragged on. Just to give you an example, the last round of discussions lasted 37 hours. That just shows you how much EU member states are divided on how to handle this regulation of AI. Now, the process did start in 2021, but it was actually disrupted by the launch of ChatGPT at the end of 2022, which really revealed to the world the progress of generative AI, these AI systems that can create text translations, pitches in just seconds, but also voice and videos. And that showed also the associated risks like false information and deep fakes. And so what happened is that along the way, at the request of EU lawmakers, they decided to create a framework just for generative AI specifically. And so that took more time. And what we're seeing here is often what we see when we talk about innovation and regulation. Laws tend to really struggle to keep up with technological advances, and they fall back. Now, the other problem is, of course, there are differences between EU member states, with France and Germany really fearing that if they regulate too much, they will hamper innovation. It's going to hurt AI champs like, for instance, the French company Mistral AI. And this is very important because all regions in the world are today engaged in this race for AI. Now, the law is certainly a step forward. It is historic indeed, but it's not there yet. The law still needs to be formally approved by member states and the parliament, and we'll probably see it be enforced by 2025. And as I said, there's probably going to be a lot of new developments in the domain of AI until then.
OK, but the political agreement was reached on Friday. So what does that actually entail?
Indeed. So you have to understand first how the law actually works. It's a two-tier mechanism. So Europe is going to impose on providers of AI systems different obligations depending on two different things: the power of their AI system, how powerful it is, but also how risky it's deemed for people. So, for instance, an AI system that is in the domain of health is automatically going to be considered as more risky. So if you look at generative AI, for instance, for powerful AI models like ChatGPT, for instance, you're going to see new obligations like a risk management and monitoring, human control over the machine, technical documentation, whereas for a less powerful algorithm, they're just going to ask for transparency to understand how they developed their AI. So this two-tier system is one sticking point. The second sticking point is the use of AI by law enforcement. So the text for now prohibits what we call real-time facial recognition, but also automatic biometric identification for individuals in public places. And that includes emotional recognition that we see in China. And the goal here is to really avoid sliding into a social credit system like in China. But the states were able to obtain certain exemptions. So there are three. So police will be able to use AI models with the prevention of terrorist threats, the search for kidnapped victims, but also the identification of suspected criminals. So, of course, this is raising many concerns.
All right, Julia Seeger, thanks very much indeed.